The top stories: Prime Minister Abiy launches Ethiopia Week. The longtime freedom fighter Andargacho Tsege condemns US intrusion. And African nations need $330 billion to cope with COVID-19. Hello and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy launches Ethiopia Week, which is showcasing Ethiopia's cultural diversity, history, and unique assets. The week-long event, which is open to the public at Shegar Park, Friendship Square, heralds that knowing Ethiopia is like knowing the whole world. Shifarau Lako has more.
Ethiopia prides itself in its cultural diversity, history, and unique assets anywhere in the world. Here in the capital Addis Ababa, Ethiopia Week has been launched, showcasing this wealth and East African nation trade alternatives, as well as investment destinations, which are open to the public at Shegar Park, Friendship Square. High-ranking government officials, leaders of regional states, members of the diplomatic corps, and invited guests were in attendance of the event opened as of Tuesday. Welcoming the participants, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed reiterated that Ethiopia is a proud nation basking in its rich cultural identity and history.
Ethiopia is a nation that everyone prides themselves in. The country is also a beacon of pride and bravery as well as prosperity for many nations. This event is also testifies to the fact that Ethiopia is capable of taking the lead and accomplishing whatever it has started as was its custom previously.
The Premier has also encouraged everyone to visit and learn of Ethiopia's national wealth.
The event is a great eye-opener to everyone, including those that have hated Ethiopia without properly knowing it. Therefore, make sure you don't lose this opportunity over the week and come and get introduced to Ethiopia. Its glory and fame, whether you are familiar with it or not. Everyone interested in exploring Ethiopia more will have the opportunity to learn of our culture, history, and assets of each regional state.
The organizers of the event are the three female ministers of Ethiopia, the Minister of Culture and Tourism, the Minister of Women, Children and Youth, as well as the Urban Development and Construction Minister. They reiterated that knowing Ethiopia is like knowing the whole world.
We welcome you all to a new and prosperous Ethiopia that offers unbounded opportunities for investment in a young, dynamic, and skilled workforce, or leisure-filled pleasure, offering rich and unique resources in abundance, be it economic or cultural experiences. This new Ethiopia offers investors a world with unparalleled possibilities that can manufacture the next generation of technology. Ethiopian Week builds on all of these efforts. There is a Somali saying, Ninandul Marin Dayo Malaha, or when any man who has not traveled the earth is truly without a sight. And I say, one who has not traveled to Ethiopia truly has not seen the world fully.
The event, which will last till May 24, is expected to showcase Ethiopia's diverse and unique cultural riches, vividly displayed from all the regional states.
The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will begin power generation trial run during the upcoming rainy season. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has today started consultation with representatives of various religious institutions and civic society organizations on GERD On the occasion, it is stated that the dam will commence trial run during the Ethiopian rainy season. A 650-kilometer-long transmission line has been built and synchronized with the national grid as part of the pre-operational works. It is also indicated on the consultative meeting. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has stated the construction of GERD has reached 80% and the second filling of the dam will be carried out as per the time scheduled. The dam's reservoir will retain 13.5 billion cubic meters of water during the second filling, thereby increasing the total volume of water held in the dam to 18.4 billion cubic meters, the ministry explained. Construction of civil works have surpassed 91%, while the electromechanical and hydrostructure works reached 54.5 and 55.2% respectively. Completion of the dam will increase the nation's electric energy capacity from 73 kilowatts to 220 kilowatts. No force can disrupt the efforts underway to fill the dam and the process in line with filling and operation of the project, the ministry stressed. Representatives of the religious leaders and civic society organizations have pledged commitment to the successful completion of the dam. Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry reassured Egyptians that the second filling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will not negatively impact Egypt. Responding to Egypt Independent, the foreign minister underscored Egypt still has the Aswan High Dam reservoir to rely on. Emmanuel Jorge has more.
Reacting to TEN-TV, Egyptian Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry said he has confidence that the second filling of the Renaissance Dam will not affect the Egyptian interests. Shoukry said this on Tuesday that Egypt can deal with the second filling of the dam through tight procedures in managing water resources. The international moves show the importance of the issue and allow the President of the African Union to be briefed on the Egyptian viewpoint, which is characterized by flexibility, moderation, and the desire to get out of argument by reaching an agreement. He said Egypt is awaiting an invitation from the Presidency of the African Union to hold the Union's office in the presence of the parties to make a decision that will lead to another opportunity to the negotiation process. Egypt and Sudan say they want a legally binding agreement on filling and operating the GERD, while Ethiopia has expressed its firm stance that the context of the issue doesn't require any binding agreement. The construction of the dam, which began in 2011, is considered to be one of Egypt's most serious water issues. But Ethiopia time and again has expressed its good faith commitment that the construction of the GERD will not have any significant harm to downstream countries. However, Egypt, which relies considerably on fresh water from the Nile, has voiced fears that the GERD would negatively impact the country's water supply and has insisted that measures be put in place to protect downstream countries in case of drought during the dam's filling process. Currently, the Ethiopian government has extended its open hands to both the downstream countries to come to the African Union-led negotiation table in order to secure win-win solution to their disagreement. Ethiopia has stressed the importance of the project to bolster its economy, where more than half of the population currently lives without access to electricity, which by any standard is unacceptable in this modern era.
An Ethiopian legal expert says filling the dam before the upcoming election is a wise decision in case the election is extended until after the filling of the dam. The expert, Semena Kiros, told ETV that this is a time when external forces are colluding to destabilize Ethiopia, adding this is a delicate matter needing calculated and wise decisions. Goshu Maliso reports.
It is to be recalled that Ethiopia plans to conduct the second filling of its $5 billion dam come the next rainy season. But amidst concerted efforts by external forces, particularly by the likes of Egypt and Sudan, to thwart the completion of the dam, Ethiopia has announced the extension of its general and parliamentary election for an indefinite time due to logistical reasons. Sudan and Egypt keep coming up with new and irrelevant ideas during each round of trilateral talks in an apparent attempt to pressure Ethiopia to sign a legally binding agreement. Commenting on the matter, Renowned legal expert Smiena Kiros said filling the dam before the election is a wise decision as external forces are working day and night to destabilize Ethiopia.
We have to have things in a very strategic way. If we fill the dam first, I think that would be a very good thing. And then we conduct election. Conducting election is bringing people to the public square in big numbers. That is very easy to create some kind of mob action and to destabilize the country. So I think it is a very wise decision to have the second round of filling of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam and then conducting the election afterwards. I am sure we will fill the second round of filling in a very short period as we did in the first round of filling.
Meanwhile, Director of the National Council for the Coordination of Public Participation for the GERD, Aragawi Berhe, for his part said extending the election is a step in the right direction. He nevertheless doesn't think extending the election has any impact on the filling of the dam.
The filling of the dam should not determine the election of Ethiopia. Election should be conducted provided you have the necessary preconditions, which are peace and mobility and freedom. Once you have all this, and especially peace is very crucial in elections. People have to gather, people have to come out, assemble, discuss, debate, interrogate the parties, and so on. So this requires peace.
Samiena reiterated that all Ethiopians need to stand together at this critical time because various external forces are lined up to disrupt the Horn of African nation. Samiena believes that extending the election has serious security implications for the country.
There are external forces that want to take advantage of the circumstances to destabilize the country. Particularly as fragmented as we are along ethnic, religious, linguistic lines, that makes Ethiopia vulnerable to external intervention. There are those who promote their interests in Ethiopia by destabilizing, weakening the country. There are also other groups who believe they will take advantage of the weakness of Ethiopia without having an interest in the Renaissance Dam.
Ethiopia has recently announced that the construction of the mega dam on the Blue Nile River has reached 80%, as it intends to fill the dam sometime in July for a second round.
Welcome back. You're watching Addis News Hour. Ethiopia has taken bold leadership in climate action as part of its Green Legacy initiative. This year, Ethiopia will plant 6 billion seedlings as part of efforts to fight the effects of deforestation and climate change. Not only this, the country will also send an additional 1 billion seedlings to neighboring countries to start a regional effort towards a green Africa. We've learned this while the Premier launched the 2021 edition of Green Legacy Initiative today. Alula Taklamariam presents the story as follows.
In the third phase of Green Legacy Initiative, Ethiopia intends to plant 6 billion seedlings on 1.9 million hectares of land throughout the country. The initiative includes Ethiopia's neighboring countries, planning to see 1 billion seedlings in the nations. Launching the program, Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed articulated the importance of nurturing tree planting in different areas of the country.
ግሪን ሌጋሲ ለኢትዮጵያ ስንል ቤታችን ቢሮአችን ከባቢያችን
When we say green legacy for Ethiopia, we mean all our residences, our surroundings, our offices and our cities deserve this image. As Ethiopians, our lives are strongly intertwined with trees and forests. If you look this area, for example, it is all made of local products invested by local knowledge. We did not import anything for this to happen. We did not invite any foreign expert to help us. We rather did it by ourselves. So, we can build the entire nation in this way.
The Premier underscored that Ethiopians are well known for translating their words into action once they promise.
What we learn from this project intensifies the long-lasting tradition of Ethiopian culture. If all Ethiopians unite and come together, they successfully meet their goal.
The Prime Minister also expressed the need to plant trees for addressing various regional and global conflicts to all natural resources.
በዓለም ላይ ያሉ ግጭቶች አብዛኛው ሊባል በሚችል ደረጃ ከተፈጥሮ ሀብት ቅርምት ጋር የሚያያዝ
Conflicts we see across the world are because of natural resources. One way or the other, natural resources are the cause of conflicts. If we see the current conflicts and displacements in Ethiopia, it is natural resource-driven conflict. The fight is to own a fertile land. So, if we develop all parts of our country, we can minimize conflict. Planting trees is just a matter of life and death issue for us.
He further calls upon all Ethiopians to actively participate in the third round of Green Legacy Initiative as they did in the last two rounds.
Ethiopia's First Lady Zinash Tayacho inaugurated a secondary school building that has been built by the Office of the First Lady in Mandura Wareda of Metekel Zone, Benishangul Gumuz region. The newly inaugurated Walamba Secondary School, which has been built at a cost of 13.8 million birr, is one of the 20 schools constructed by the Office of the First Lady throughout the country. The school is said to have a capacity of enrolling 1,800 pupils with double shift system and is equipped with modern laboratories, libraries, and ICT facilities. First Lady Zinash Tayacho has donated computers, solar energy panels, uniforms and shoes, and other teaching aids to the school. Longtime freedom fighter and prominent politician Andargacho Tsege said Ethiopia has never seen direct interference from any external power in its internal affairs. In an exclusive interview with ETV English regarding the latest statement of the US government on Ethiopia, Andargacho said Ethiopians will keep voicing against any interference that violates the sovereignty of Ethiopia. He said the protest will be held on Friday across the country.
The slogan that leads the campaign is to demand really Western governments, especially the US and the UK, to take their hands off Ethiopia and to stop really meddling in Ethiopian internal affairs. And there would be a signing of a petition digitally organized by all Ethiopians, wherever they are, inside the country and abroad. There would be a number of civil organizations, representatives of civil organizations, like the youth organization, the teachers, the workers union, and others civil organizations that will be handing a letter of complaint to the embassies or representatives of the major Western governments that are meddling in Ethiopian affairs. And at the same time as well, there are a number of other governments that have stood with Ethiopians in their time of need. We've seen it when the Americans tried to pass a resolution in the UN Security Council. The Russians, the Chinese, and the Indians have more or less really stopped them. So there would be a letter that would be handed to the embassies of this government, thanking them for their just stand.
The protest rally, which is organized by the country's influential people, will encompass a number of events day long.
No country, no foreign country has any jurisdiction over another country, really dictating what the other country should do, whether the country is America, the US, or the UK, or any other country. So what the activities of the Western government, especially the US government, is totally illegal. If you look by international law, or if you take the UN Charter, it doesn't allow any regime, any government to interfere in the internal affairs of another government. So there is no legal ground.
Andargacho articulated that no country has legal right to put pressure or order another sovereign country to withdraw its military army within its territory. What the US currently demands is totally illegal. So the attempt to inflict pressure on the country is their usual trend of leveraging Ethiopia's weakness, which is poverty.
One of the major challenges we thought is the interference of especially Western governments in Ethiopian internal affairs. And we realize, in fact, they are using a number of pretexts. For instance, one of them is really the filling of the Renaissance Dam, and the other is the law enforcement measures that has been taken by the Ethiopian government in the Tigray region. And the third one is the upcoming election. I think in our history, we've never seen really that much direct interference. Western governments trying to give direct order to the Ethiopian government. That has concerned us. This issue has become more national, more an issue of the people. And the small group that is organizing this protest is trying really to rally the general public to express its outrage against Western governments that are directly interfering in Ethiopian affairs.
Finance Minister Ahmed Shide discussed with CEO of Development Agency of France, Remy Rieu, on ways of strengthening the economic cooperation between Ethiopia and France. The minister emphasized the need to revitalize the medium-term economic cooperation framework as part of the effort to increase the official development assistance predictability and enhance development cooperation effectiveness between the two countries. They also discussed projects financed and technically supported by AFD, including the economic reform program support, as well as the recent board-approved COVID-19 support to the MSME's Business Sustainability and Jobs Protection Program and implementation of the National Digital ID Program. The government of Ethiopia underlines the importance of these projects and the need to expedite the process to start project implementation as soon as possible. Cooperation between Ethiopia and France began in 1966 when the two countries signed the Cultural, Scientific, and Technical Cooperation Agreement.